Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday from Arni's. Happy birthday to you. Woo!
Arni's birthday Zoom with Mack Gadis, and Purdue basketball fans know Mack. Birthday number 59. He's a young man, as I always say. And I knew Mack. I first met Mack in the fall of 1982. We lived across the hall from each other at Wiley Hall. Mack was a model. He and Herb Robinson couldn't have been better guys to be across the hall from. And I remember. But Mack, happy birthday to you. All birthdays are good, and welcome to the media highlight of your life, the Arni's birthday Zoom.
I appreciate it very much. Appreciate the kind words, Alan.
Yeah, and Mack, you look at this, and I always ask the question kind of off the jump is, what kind of family traditions? I know you had at least I know of one older brother, David Gadis, but also what was a family tradition for you on birthdays? I'm sure you were probably steeped in basketball this time of year. You were playing for Pike High School and grade school, et cetera. But what did you do growing up that is a birthday tradition for you?
Well, I mean, like you said, I mean, most of it, the big part of it is we were always playing basketball, on our birthdays. My brother's birthday is January 16th. Mine's is the 20th.
Oh, okay.
So, we always had, if you had Friday, Saturday birthdays, you had a game. If you had during the week, you was getting ready for a game. So it was, it was more that we didn't maybe celebrate on a birthday, but when an open day became available during that week, we did something, so it really no major traditions other than, go out to dinner, just quiet time. I mean, with it being so busy all the time, any quiet time was great. What was big back then is that we used to go to a place people probably remember called Ponderosa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We used to, that was like, that was like Ruth Chris back in the day, so I always get the salad bar, all that kind of stuff on your birthday. So those were the special moments and a couple of gifts, but it's probably not like now. People get brand new cars and trips to Rome or Jamaica on their birthday. So ours was very modest.
Yeah, but I hate to think what the Gadis family did to that Ponderosa salad bar. You probably got your money's worth. So that part is good. But you know what? I'm with you on that. Those back in the days when you could have salad bars and stuff like that was all good. We didn't know any different. So that's one of the beautiful things in life, I think. Yeah. All right, you're obviously come from a basketball family. Brother David played at SMU. Mm-hmm. Talk about that family dynamic growing up, and was it and I can't remember, David, a year older or 2 years older?
He's 2 years. He's 2 years older.
So how much did it impact? Were you guys wildly competitive? Did that make you the player that you were, Indiana All-Star, et cetera, coming out of Pike High School? What was that dynamic like for you?
Yeah, I mean, we were competitive, from a just if I remember back, when I was growing up, it was important to be accepted when you went to play by the older kids. That kind of felt like you made it. So I grew up the whole time playing with older people. I mean, because I played with my brother, him being 2 years older. If I was a freshman, most of the guys were juniors or seniors. If I was an eighth grader, they were older. So it helped me. But at the same time, you look back and you just kind of cut your teeth on things like, you see your brother do certain things, so you want to chase those certain goals. You see records, you want to chase those records. So it gave more of something to shoot for, growing up, and also I think that being the younger brother, your older brother is always tougher on you. I mean, anything that you do, I mean, it doesn't matter. So the older brother is not going to let the younger brother beat him. If you win the game, you're probably going to lose the fight, kind of thing. So it was great growing up that way, and I cherish those moments. But just being able to play, seeing somebody so good and then have aspirations to succeed as well.
Well, tell me about your recruiting trip to Purdue and how you ended up at Purdue. It would have been Gene Keady's third recruiting class. Obviously, you were accomplished Indiana All-Star and a great program under Ed Siegel at Pike. But who visited you first, and how did Purdue's obviously up the road, so to speak. But how did you get to Gene Keady's program?
Well, it came down to more between really IU and Purdue. I mean, it was an IU and Purdue thing. I mean, back in the 80s, if you were any good, you wanted to go to IU or Purdue. I mean, there was no going to Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Massachusetts, or wherever. It was just, because what's changed now is that people can see you play no matter where you live.
Yeah.
And if you live in Indiana and you want to play in California, you'd be able to get to Pac-12 games. Now, back then, if you played out in California and lived in Indiana, you're kind of like, well, nobody's going to see me play. So it was more of a thing that I wanted to stay close to home, so my parents could see me play, family members and all that. But the recruiting process was really, Bobby Knight visiting, the house, and really coming down to where he said that, I'm recruiting you and Stu Robinson. You're my two guards. Right now, we made an offer to Stu. If he decides to take it, that'll be the only point guard we take. So Purdue started recruiting me, and really they started in the summer, my junior year. So summer before my junior year. So at the camps, and AAU really wasn't big back then. So you didn't have the travel AAU like you have now, where you can travel around. More schools could see you back then. I mean, more schools could see you now than back then. So it was really went to BC camp, 5-star camp. It was camps. Or you played pickup games in the gym and coaches came in and saw you. That was really the extent of playing summer basketball, or just word of mouth kind of thing. So, Keady visited the house. I enjoyed our visit with Coach Keady, and I took my visit, to Purdue. Ricky Hall was my, if you remember Ricky, my recruiting guy, and we had another guy come, and he ended up going to Notre Dame. I forgot his name. Can't make out his name, but it was a tour. And it was great, and I fell in love with Purdue right then. And by the time I left, that's where I was going to go. That's where I wanted to be. I saw the tradition, and it came down to I wasn't going to try to go someplace and have to compete. Knight was up front. I mean, he said, you and Stu Robinson offered Stu first. So that tells me that, you're going to either be battling with a guy or playing behind a guy, So Ricky was graduating the next year after I got there. So I saw a good opportunity at Purdue as well.
Yeah, and you took it. Now you also obviously you're keen, you've been involved with basketball in your professional life as well. But Purdue's got a couple pretty good freshmen in Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. But you guys had a moment your freshman year that is still etched in Purdue history. The 20-point comeback, the greatest comeback in the history of Purdue basketball at Illinois. And Herb Robinson hit a couple big shots. Mack Gadis played a big part in that game. What do you tell people about that game? I mean, the fact that you're down, 49-29 and can't score. And Gene Keady's had enough, and you were coming off the bench at that time. But he sticks you guys in, and a guy named Jim Rowinski as well. But tell us what your story is of that great February evening in 1983 in Champaign.
Yeah, I mean that's something that you're just gonna have a memory for the rest of your life. I mean, you're sitting there, a young kid, and you've seen. I mean, I think the hard part about it, what people can't visualize, that you're watching, you're watching your team get steamrolled. I mean, we can't do anything right. I mean, missing layups, and they're making, and they're making everything. And the fans are going crazy. And the Illinois fans, I mean, they're down close to the court, and the orange is flowing, and so they're going crazy, and we're sitting there thinking, well, I guess we'll go in. It's a blowout. That's what the thing is, that the game's going to be a blowout. We go in, and you know what, have some fun. And it just got in where, and I think it was one of those things where you started making shots,
Yeah.
and then they started missing. And I've always said that any run is based upon getting it to 10 points. If you're down by 20, if you can get it to 10, it's a new basketball game. And it got to 15. They called a timeout. They missed a couple. We get a couple, easy buckets. It gets to, 12 points. And now, if it gets to 9, you got a real good chance. So it just, everything just was going wrong, started going right.
Yeah.
And we started making baskets, and their fans started getting more quiet. And at that time, when you get down from 20 to 9, as a player, you're thinking, if we lose this, we're going to be this is going to be bad at home.
Yeah.
So you could see them getting real tight, thinking about every shot that they missed was a conversion for us. And it just got down to a point where, we weren't even watching the clock. We were playing like it was a pickup game.
Yeah.
So we were just going up and down the floor, scoring. And what I was hoping that when we got it down so low, that coach didn't sub everybody back out for the starters.
Yeah.
Because
and
that's
he didn't.
No, he didn't. And that's what you see a lot, is where teams make a comeback and all of a sudden it's back to 4 or 5 points. Now the starters come back in, and coach was like, well, I guess these guys brought us to this point. Let's roll with it. And that was just I think it was a bonding moment, for the team as well. And when you do that, when you get down in other games, you always think back to those games and say, well, you know what? It can be done, but it's not something that you lean on and try to make you want to make this your focal point. That, no big deal. You get down 20, you can always come back. I mean, most teams just don't let you do that, but it was a fond memory, and I'll always live with that.
Yeah. Benefit of also having, there's the trial year of the 3-pointer, first year in the Big Ten, and number 32. I can remember Herb hitting a couple from the corner, and I think one assist by you.
Right.
Oh my God, they're gonna do this. And of course, the bank shot. Where were you in the bank shot? And of course, with Jim Rowinski's banker to win it.
I thought I was just on the perimeter, maybe. I cannot remember back out without looking at that old VHS tape again. I mean, I need to get that thing and put it on some kind of disc.
No doubt.
I just think I was on the perimeter somewhere, maybe waiting on the ball, but and that was odd that Rowinski ends up taking the shot. I mean, that's how crazy it was. Is that he ends up taking a 3. I mean, of all baskets, so I can't remember exactly, but I knew I was around the perimeter somewhere, just waiting on the ball. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. I have a copy of that picture. It's pretty widescreen enough. When we post your birthday Zoom, I'll find that and stick that up, and we'll see it. I don't know if you're in the frame or not, but a lot of fun. All right. You also had, and you've been watching this basketball team, and of course, as an alum, have to be proud of what you're seeing out of Matt Painter's team. You're a basketball guy. You analyze it as well as anybody else. What do you see for this team, and maybe some of the challenges ahead? But obviously, this is a record start, 18-1, the best start in Purdue basketball history. But what do you like out of this group? Out of the obvious?
I like this team a lot. I mean, actually, I thought back and I was like, is this team better than last year's team?
Yeah.
And that's because you look at the talent they had last year with Ivy and Williams, and and those guys are not here now with Hunter and Thompson, and you look at it on paper and go, there's no way that's more talented. But I think what this team has, what I see with this team is that I think it's got better role players.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, I think, is that guys know what they're supposed to do when they come in the game or when they're on the court. I know that, I'm supposed to play defense, rebound, hustle, get loose balls. I'm supposed to get other people open, and when I do, I need to make open shots. And I think that sometimes freshmen, when they come in, they don't know any better. A lot of them, they just play basketball. I mean, they don't even know that they're a freshman or not supposed to be doing something. And I think that's what you're seeing with Lawyer and Smith, is that, and those two guys, they play well together. They kind of feed off each other. They know who each other is on the court. So I like this team. The one challenge I see with it, and people ask me all the time, what do you think about the Purdue team? Is that if they ever have to face a team that probably has really athletic wings,
Yeah.
And really what I mean by that is that it's maybe not a team that is better, but I think it gives them more problems because it makes entry passes harder. It makes guys on the perimeter. You're going to have teams that pick you up full court. And when you have big guards, they give smaller guards problems, not from the standpoint that they control them, but they're so long that they get their hands on tip balls. They get in passing lane, and sometimes they get you sped up. And that's what freshmen get in trouble sometimes is that they pressure you so hard that you try to beat them, and you don't know sometimes when to back it down and slow down. You just keep going, and then you're going too far. And now they got you sped up, and it makes it a track race. Yeah. So I don't think that this team wants to get into a rip and run with teams. I think it's a better half-court basketball team than last year. I think last year maybe had better scores.
Yeah.
I think the team has better guys that play probably team basketball. I think that's what I see with this team. They don't care who scores, as long as they get the job done. And I think this team can go far. I think that it's a lot of good teams in the country, and it's a lot of I think it goes as far as Edey plays. I think Zach is the key to this team. I think that if he's playing well, they're hard to contain because it opens up a perimeter if he's playing well. If he's not playing well, it makes guys defend the perimeter or sag back in. So it's sky's the limit for them. I mean, this team can win a national championship. I'll put it that.
You have played a lot of basketball, watched a lot of basketball. Have you ever seen a guy like Zach Edey? Seriously, 7'4", and his improvement has been well documented, but he is really something.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of basketball, and I've seen a lot of big guys, but he seems to have some skill that most big guys don't have. The one thing that I do see with him is that people always ask, well, what about the next level? I think that the challenges of the next level is that there's so much high screen and roll in the NBA. It's one screen, guy goes around, big man has to come and help. You got to think that on a nightly basis, he might have to help off the guard a Kyrie Irving. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's the challenges of what it is now. If Zach played when I played, he's the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the kid from Illinois last year, Kofi, he's the first pick in the draft. Yeah. The game has changed where it's more of a positionless game, and guys play multiple positions, and you have to be able to guard multiple positions. On a night, Zach's got to guard Paul George.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got to guard Kevin Durant. And then next night, Joel Embiid. I mean, that's the kind of thing, that's the challenges that he's got to face. But as far as college, great basketball player. Yeah. The best the best I've seen in this, so far this year is Zach Edey. Yeah. But he's going to get better too. Yeah. And if he improves on those things that he needs to, there's no reason why he can't play at the next level. But there's some challenges that face him that athletic players sometimes don't have to face.
Yeah, well said. All right, tell me about what your day job is with State Farm, but also your family and who will be celebrating with you today.
Right. Well, I'm a State Farm agent since 1997. Okay. Yeah. So, here in Indianapolis, over on the east side. So I enjoy what I do. Wouldn't do anything else right now. Enjoy the freedom of the job. So what comes with it? I've done a lot of travel. Still get to see a lot of basketball, so that's important. But family, married, 2 kids. One kid plays basketball at Anderson University. He's a junior, Jordan. My daughter's Olivia is a senior at Knowlesville High School, plays tennis. So she's actually she got her acceptance to Purdue.
Oh, good.
Week, so excited about that. So we're just enjoying watching Jordan play basketball right now. And I know I'm not sure who'll be spending it with me, but we'll figure that out as the day goes on. You know, it is like, hey, what you got going on? You know, we're doing this, we're doing that. So just looking forward to a relaxing, enjoyable day. Really.
All right, beautiful thing, and yeah, I'm sure you'll get a chance to hopefully to get up to Mackey Arena, and certainly you'll be watching the Boilermakers as they continue. When you're not watching Anderson, you can get a chance to watch Purdue. And yeah, I think that you got the personality. We have the State Farm business is perfect for you. Just you're always been a great guy to be around, even back to your late teenage days. When Mack Gadis was coming forward, it was always a good situation. So, hey, have a great birthday. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the hallways of Mackey at some point in time. But and who knows, maybe we'll see each other in Houston for the Final Four. But we don't want to get too far ahead on that. But it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Alan. Hope everybody has a great day, and I appreciate you sharing the day with me.
All right, thanks so much, Mac. Happy birthday.
All right, buddy. Thanks.